Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your 100%, I mean 100% correct pick'ems maker. I, of course, have gotten every single pick'em I've put in correct. Um, yeah, no, let's not beat around the bush. Uh, yeah, I clearly flopped on both my opening stage and my elimination stage, but you know what? That's okay because I don't do it to be right, right? I don't do it for the coins. I just do it for fun, like most people, right? I just enjoy doing it. So, is whatever. And I do the vids for fun, so whatever. But today, we're going to be talking about the playoffs for the Shanghai Major, of course. Yeah, so I'm sure I've said this before, but I famously, got my playoffs right got all of my playoff trophies for Copenhagen. I didn't get the diamond because I messed up my elimination stage for that major, but I did get both of my quarterfinals. Did get a semifinal, and I did predict Navi to win the Copenhagen major. And the way I did that is because you can't do something like that. It'd be really hard to do something like that through like pure analysis or just doing the kind of same thing that we've been doing for the other two stages. What I did to get my playoff stuff right, excuse me, for Copenhagen, was I just picked who I wanted to win, honestly, because these 7 games are 7 of the best matches you will see in Counter-Strike this year. I mean, that's just without a doubt, right? These are going to be some awesome, really fun to watch matches of Counter-Strike, and I just like to enjoy them. I like to sit back, I like to enjoy them. I don't do fantasy, I don't try to like worry about my pick'ems. The way I did it last time and the way I'm going to do it this time is I'm just going to pick who I want to win, right? So that every time there is a match like this, each of these matches, I can just root for who I want to win because it doesn't matter if I made a pick 'em or not because I'm just rooting for the person I want to win because I picked them to win. So I'm just going to go through that process now. So between Mongols and Maus, I actually really like both of these teams. Honestly, Mongols is looking great, and they're the home team, right? So they're just you want to see a home team win their major. You just do. It's a courtesy thing. You want to see it. It's happened a lot of times before. A matter of fact, I'd like to show you something because this is something that I saw the other day that made me realize something really interesting. Okay, I'm just gonna pull up Liquipedia here. So check this out. This is a list of every Counter-Strike major, and the placements, first and second place. But look at some of these. Let's look at some of these. For example, sorry. Okay, yeah. Krakow and Boston are two. They're special, right? Because Gambit was not supposed to win this major. Cloud9 was not supposed to win in Boston. But you know why they won? Because it was their home major. Gambit won their Krakow major. Cloud9 won their Boston major, right? Obviously, this is 2 out of what? Like 14 majors at this point. So I understand that it's not like it's not like a super common thing, but you definitely get a buff when you play in your home major because when is that going to happen again? Right? We got a Boston major in 2018, and 6 years later, we're getting another American major. We're getting one in Austin next year, right? So you definitely get a buff when you're playing at home, and I believe the Mongols are going to ride that wave, right? I also like Mauisnake a lot. Shaghai is just such a fun in-game caller to watch. Matter of fact, that Gamer Legion squad from the Paris Major is one of my favorite teams in the world, favorite teams of all time. Shaghai, Ima, Akor, Kiaz, and Isaac or whatever. That team is one of my favorite Counter-Strike teams that's ever been. I loved watching them play. So Shui, obviously a great guy. I love Exertion, right? I'm a big fan of Israeli players. I just like to watch them play. I like it when they do well. So Mauisnake is always a team that I've always liked, but honestly, just because of the storyline and just because it's their home major, I want the Mongols to win this game. I really like Maus, and it is unfortunate that Maus had to go against a team like the Mongols in the first round. But I want the Mongols. I want the Mongols to win that quarterfinal against Maus. Going on to Team Spirit and Team Liquid, I don't like Team Spirit just as a team. I really like Doc's story. I think it's incredibly impressive for somebody that young to be changing the way that players play Counter-Strike. That whole moving away from holding an right. It's a CS2 thing, right? I think it's kind of a collision of two things where CS2 is encouraging movement. It's encouraging staying active, and then Donk is literally like the epitome of the staying active as a rifler style, right? It's a collision of two things. It's an incredible coincidence that has really propelled Donk into stardom. I really like that, but just as a player, I'm not a huge fan. I don't hate Team Spirit obviously, but they're not my favorite. Plus, they're going against Team Liquid. I mean, come on. I'm not like the biggest Team Liquid fan, but anytime we have a North American team in the major playoffs, I obviously, being a North American myself, want to see them do well. So, as like unrealistic as this is, I'm gonna pick major. I'm gonna pick Liquid to win this quarterfinal because I want them to. I want to root for Team Liquid, and if they win, it's a win-win, right? It's kind of a long shot, and by kind of I mean like it is a long shot, but I'm gonna make the pick because I want them to win, and I want to root the way I'm picking. G2 Heroic, I really like both of these teams. I mean, really like both of these teams, and honestly, I'm going to say something crazy. I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world that Heroic would win this game. They're probably not going to, but if they did, I'd be like, kudos. It would not be the craziest thing in the world. Heroic beating G2, I don't think would be as crazy as Liquid beating Spirit, right? That's how crazy this pick is compared to like something like this, right? Because Heroic looks really good. Kickstand is really leveling up as an in-game leader right now. Nerds is looking on fire. So I really like this Heroic team. However, it's G2's last dance with Nico. Nico and Monacy as a pairing, playing in their last major together. Possibly, right? You never know what the future will hold. But in the G2 jersey, it's their last time. Snacks is really coming back. He finally has a team. Mobs ND is a rookie at the major on this team. I'm going to pick G2 to win that because I want them to. But I would not be disappointed if Heroic won. I wouldn't be too disappointed. Vitality versus FaZe. I really like both of these teams. However, Vitality is, while they're really good, according to like HLTV rumors and whatnot, the team's kind of falling apart, and they might fall apart if they don't win this quarterfinal, and FaZe Clan, Kerrigan, I think it was Kerrigan, just lost his brother, right? That obviously sucks. But FaZe they level up when it comes to the playoffs. They level up in a major playoff. I honestly wouldn't be too disappointed either way, but I'd like FaZe Clan to win this game. And I think they have a good chance to, right? If we're talking about Vitality versus FaZe in like the opening or elimination stage, in the elimination stage, right? Vitality's probably going to take that pretty handedly. But this is a FaZe Clan in a major playoff in front of a massive involved crowd, which Kerrigan is going to use to advantage. I'm going to go with FaZe Clan on that one. Now for the semifinal matches. Mongols versus Liquid. Honestly, this is tough because it's the home crowd, or it's the home team versus the NA team. I just gotta write it with Mongols, bro. Mongols have to make it to the grand final of their home major. And home major aside for the Mongols, what an incredible story it would be for Mongols to be like sneaking their way out of tier 2, sneak into tier 1, and then slowly climb, and then boom! Major grand finalist. How crazy of a story is that for the Mongols? That would be sick. Home major side, that would be incredible. G2 versus FaZe, one of the most storied matchups in Counter-Strike, in like recent Counter-Strike history. Just such a cool matchup. Every single time they're going to be duking it out. The last time these two teams went at each other, however, in a best of 3, G2 did like choke slam FaZe. They will not do that in the playoffs. They will not, because FaZe just levels. FaZe becomes a completely different team in a major playoff circuit. However, that being said, I, yet again, would not be too disappointed either way. A FaZe Mongols grand final would go so hard, but I'm going to go with G2 here because the last dance with Nico, they just got to do it, right? Mongols versus G2 in the grand finals of the Shanghai Major. Can I remind you of something, by the way? In the last video, in my elimination stage video, the first match, the first game of the elimination stage was Mongols versus G2. And I said when I was talking about that game, yo guys, this low-key could be a major grand final game. We could be looking at the major grand final between the Mongols and between G2. And look at where we're at now, right? Even if you take some of these crazier picks out of the way, right? You have Vitality beating FaZe. You have Spirit beating Liquid. I don't think it's crazy for Mongols to beat Spirit there in their home major. It's not crazy for G2 to beat Vitality in a 3-map affair. Mongols G2 grand final is doable. If you look at the sides of this bracket, you have Mongols, Mouse, Spirit, Liquid. Who's the best team among those 4 guys? Who's the best team in a major grand final playoff? It's not Liquid. It's not Mouse. Mouse can't play in front of a crowd. It's either the Mongols or it's Team Spirit, right? Team Spirit does do decently in playoffs if Donk is on point, but if you can't get enough pieces online and Chopper's calling falls flat in the playoffs, you just don't have a good team. Mongols have looked solid this entire major. So among these 4 teams, I think Mongols have the best chance, realistically, right? We're going analytical here. Mongols have the best chance of these 4 teams to make it to the grand finals. And then if you take a look at G2 on the other, if you take a look at the other side of the bracket, right? You have FaZe, Vitality, Heroic, and G2. This is obviously a way more stacked side of the bracket, right? These teams, on average, are just going to be harder than these teams, right? In my opinion. But look at these 4 teams. FaZe have not looked great recently. Granted, it's a major playoffs phase, right? So they could just pull a FaZe and end up in the grand final, right? But FaZe have not looked great recently. Heroic is not quite at the tier they need to be beating some of these top teams. Vitality might start to crumble. That decomposing glue that we've been observing over this past month in Vitality might start to actually break, and we might see Vitality crumble under the pressure in the playoffs. And G2 just has freaking Nico and Monacy and Mobs and Hunter, right? G2 is the best team of these 4 teams, right? So seeing a Mongols G2 grand final, not only is it realistic, but it's freaking insane. I'm pretty sure this is a best of 5. Oh, I could be wrong. I actually don't know. What the decision about that was. Actually, let me look this up, because this does make a difference. This does make a difference to me. One moment. Sorry, I need to make sure, because I actually don't remember if this was going to be a best of 5 or not. Does it say? Oh, it's a best of 3. We're still on best of 3 grand finals. Wait. That's really interesting. Okay. So you have a realistic, right? You have a realistic Mongols versus G2 major grand final. Now we have to talk about who do I want to win versus who do I think is actually going to win. Man, this is so This is so tough because of all of the fun little storylines that have been going out throughout these majors. The Mongols and the G2s have been the most captivating stories at this major. The Mongols literally leveling up to tier 0, tier 0.5 levels at their home major is incredible. For Mongols to win their home major would be amazing. The Mongols winning a major. I remember during Copenhagen when I heard people were commenting like, "Oh my gosh, Mongols are going to win the Copenhagen major. Oh my gosh, Mongols are going to win the major. Oh my gosh." And people were like, "No. No, that is so unrealistic for Mongols to win that major. Shanghai or not, it is very realistic for Mongols to win this major. Mongols look the best they have ever looked in the history of this team at this major. And imagine adding Mongols to that list of major winners in the history of Counter-Strike. The Mongols win a major. And it's possible, right? That would be amazing. But then you have G2. Nico and Modesty. They've been this pairing for a long time. They're really, really good friends with each other. They love playing with each other. Mobs is a rookie. Hunter and Nico are cousins. Snacks is back. And all of that, and Nico is leaving. Guaranteed, by the way, it doesn't matter. If G2 win the major, Nico still goes to the Falcons. He still goes there, right? So do they just want to say, screw it? Screw it! There's no contract on the line. What are you going to do? Fire me? What are you going to do? Send me to another team? I'm going to another team. So they have nothing to lose. They have absolutely nothing to lose. Everybody has been talking this whole major about how G2's going to win. G2's going to win. G2's going to win. You really think that a CEO is going to hear G2's going to win all major and then do something about that? No. They already have a player that's slated to be gone. They already know that. They're keeping everyone else. They're keeping Snacks. They're keeping Mobs. They're keeping Monacy. And they're keeping Hunter. Nico's the only one they're replacing. And they have options. Right? So G2's not worried. This isn't G2 from Stockholm. This isn't Stockholm G2. This isn't, oh, my contract's on the line if I don't win the freaking major. This is, I have nothing to lose. I want to win. So the two most incredible stories during this major are in a grand final against each other. And that just makes the decision so hard. Picking a team to want to win is so difficult. Realistically, given these two teams have so much power right now. Mongols want to win their home major. G2 want to win a major, and they're in the best position they'll ever be in to do so. If this grand final happens, it's gotta be one of the most incredible major grand finals we have ever seen in the history of Counter-Strike. And it's so hard to do this. It is so difficult. But you know what? Freaking what? Mongols win the perfect world Shanghai major. I want them to win it, and I think they're gonna win it. These two stories are so incredible. But Mongols coming up in the fashion that they have, the work, the blood, sweat, and tears they've put in over this past year, and to play at home, to be the first Asian team in Counter-Strike history to make it to a playoff, and then to win it all. It's just the way it's gotta be. It's the way it's gotta be. Nico, you're gonna have to wait, buddy. You're going to Falcons for a reason. You have to win it there. You want to move? Move. But get it done later. You can't do it now. Because it's Mongols time, baby. It's Mongols time.